Welcome, Agile friends. This is Greg Miller, along with me, my partner in crime, Mark Metz. If we sound familiar, I hope we do. Together, we make up the Agile Within podcast co-host team. If you're not familiar with that, go check us out. Today, we're hosting this session, Agile Online Summit, with a great speaker, the one and only Matt Diberardino. Just found out he's from my area of the country, which is awesome. In this session, we'll learn about lessons from Lasso. It's Ted Lasso. Do you believe? Welcome, Matt.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the opportunity.
All right. So in today's session, sounds like we're going to learn some lessons from Ted Lasso.
Yep.
But we also have some sessions in the Agile Online Summit. For example, Christina Ambers and Darlene Reams have a session titled Enter the Remote Agile Dojo, Reimagining Dojos Post-COVID. So you don't want to miss out on that and all the other speakers, which you can go check out on the website on agileonlinesummit.com. All right, so Matt, for those who aren't familiar with Ted Lasso, explain to us who he is and why he's important.
Okay. Well, Ted Lasso, for those who aren't familiar with it, is a show on Apple TV centered around Jason Sudeikis' character, Ted Lasso, who's an American football coach who gets hired by an English Premier League soccer team. And I will use the word soccer instead of football because I'm American. So that's the premise, follows him around, and his demeanor, his niceness, and the way he kind of conducts himself has really kind of, it's a hysterical show with a lot of great references from, growing up in the 80s, which is where I'm from. So that's a lot of greatness that incorporates the show. But then when you find and you dig in deeper and you get away from you peel the layers from the humor and just it's a great, funny show, you see these lessons that from leadership that he's encompassing, he's bringing out. And there's a lot of them that you see through all the character arcs, through his character arc as well. And just a few that's like, hey, that's a really good way. So using the show as a backdrop is kind of a nice way to kind of tie in some of these lessons, traits, whatever we want to call them, for leadership.
I like shows like that. I've never seen it, but I like, the plot, the premise draws you in, right? Because when you explained it to me earlier, I was like, oh yeah, that sounds interesting. I've heard of it, but yeah, sounds like it has a lot of depth to it, which would be cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and depth is the right word. I've watched it. I'll go back and watch an episode. It's like, oh, I didn't catch that reference. I didn't catch that move, that whatever. So it's very deep, and watching it over and over again, to me, it never gets tiring.
Yes.
I really need to watch that because it does take me back when my kids were younger. And Greg and I have talked several times about we're big American football fans, and I really don't know much about, I guess some people would say, true football or soccer. And so when they were young, enrolled them into a soccer league, and exposed them to many different things. And there wasn't a soccer coach, so they were, Mr. Metz, would you be willing to coach your kid's soccer team?
Nice.
All right, I guess I consider myself athletic. I'll figure it out.
That's actually how I kind of became a soccer coach as well, and how I got into soccer was they said, hey, does your son want to move up at this? We could use his skill on this team. I said, sure. And they said, great, you're assistant coach. And I'm like, wait, what? I don't, I know there's, I'm a hockey player. It's like soccer is like, no, there's no ice, there's no board. I don't know.
Nice.
So as with everything, it's like, okay, how do I do this? And how do I learn? How do I learn the sport? How do I learn? There was just so much. And kind of in the same way, it almost parallels Ted Lasso. He doesn't know anything about soccer. And as you see, it's like he has somebody that he relies on. To him, it's not really about coaching the sport. It's about helping the people. It's about becoming a team, helping the people become better versions of themselves. And he goes on to explain that. And that's kind of like the central theme of it. And it's kind of the first thing in my believing in the people, believing that they are capable of doing these things.